Hello, and welcome to Tell the People, a program about our Catholic faith with news and information in and around the Catholic Diocese of Lafayette. I'm Stephanie Bernard. In today's show, Trista Littell has an interview with Mark Houck talking about an organization called the King's Men. Father Michael Champine's talk is about the Stations of the Cross. In this segment, what it means to be Catholic. And in a conversation with Bishop Michael Jarrell, Monsignor Richard Green interviews Bishop Jarrell about Holy Week activities. And now, Catholic news on this April 1st weekend. The Carmelite Sisters would like to invite everyone to join them for Holy Week services at the Monastery of Mary, Mother of Grace in Lafayette. On Holy Thursday, April 5th, the Lord's Supper Mass will be celebrated at 5:30 p.m. On April 6th, Good Friday services will be conducted beginning at 12 noon. On Holy Saturday, April 7th, the blessing of the new fire and Easter Vigil Mass will take place at 11 p.m. Lastly, Easter Sunday Mass will be celebrated at 10 a.m. The Central Region of the Lafayette Diocese will host the 2012 Divine Mercy Day of Reflection on Saturday, April 14th at Our Lady of Fatima Church in Lafayette. This event will be held from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. with registration and exhibits opening at 7:15 a.m. Based on the theme, Spark of Mercy, guest speakers for this event will include Dave and Joan Maroney, Roy Pettifield, Ann Carto, and Fred Beretta. For further details, please call 654-8682. George W. Holland IV, a parishioner of Our Lady of Wisdom Church in Lafayette and a professional investment advisor, will present a Catholic perspective on what happens when faith and finances intersect. Mr. Holland's presentation will be held on Saturday, April 14th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. inside Our Lady of Wisdom, Jamard Hall. There is no charge for the event, although donations will be accepted at the door. Mr. Holland's presentation will include church teachings and practical advice that will offer attendees a great awareness of how to approach their finances in the light of their faith. For questions regarding this event, call the Our Lady of Wisdom office at 232-8742. Beginning on Tuesday, April 17th, Holy Cross and St. Pius X churches in Lafayette will sponsor a 6-session series designed to welcome inactive Catholics back to the renewed practice of their faith. Catholics Returning Home is a special ministry for people who have been away from the church so that they may ask their questions and feel supported in their decision to return. Holy Cross Church will host the sessions each Tuesday from April 17th to May 22nd from 6:30 to 8 p.m. in the Grace Meeting Room, Building A. Those who know of any inactive Catholics who may be interested in attending are encouraged to invite them. For more information on this program, please contact Ashton Mouton at 232-4656. Have you ever questioned why Catholics believe what we believe? Has it been difficult finding the answers? Please join others in studying and learning about the true teachings of the Catholic faith every Thursday evening in the Parish Life Center of Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church in New Iberia. Meetings will be held from 6:30 to 8 p.m. weekly. For more information, please contact Peggy Tozan at 380-4829. Coming up next, Trista Littell has an interview with Mark Houck talking about an organization called the King's Men.
Welcome to Tell the People. I'm Trista Littell, and with me here today is Mark Houck, founder of the King's Men. Welcome, Mark.
Good to be with you, Trista. Thanks
Good.
for having me.
Thank you, Mark. Mark, the King's Men's mission, as I understand it, is to unite and build up other men in the mold of leader, protector, and provider. Why were you inspired to form the King's Men?
Sure. Well, I'm a cradle Catholic, and I grew up receiving 22 years of private Catholic education, but really in the middle of my 20s, I really didn't know what it meant to be a Catholic. And I found myself searching for answers. And I came upon the pro-life movement and the pro-chastity movement. And I started to work and volunteer my time. And as I was traveling around the country with this young group called Generation Life in the Philadelphia area, I saw a tremendous lack of male leadership in the pro-life movement and abstinence education movement. And I said to myself, why aren't men sharing the message of saving sex for marriage? Why aren't men standing up for the babies in the womb? Where are they? Why aren't they coming out? So I identified for myself a crisis in masculinity. Not only did I see the crisis in my own life, but I saw it in the church as a whole. And so that's really, in a nutshell, why we began the King's Men in 2006, to really answer the crisis in masculinity.
Well, what are you currently doing with respect to that, Mark?
Yeah, well, we do a variety of programs. We're a full-time lay apostolate based out of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, and we have 3 full-time laymen working for us and about a half dozen part-time workers. So God has blessed our ministry, and we're a nonprofit organization that is really reaching out to men through a variety of programs. We do retreats for men. We do conferences where we travel around the country, and we'll speak at men's conferences. But at the core of what we do is our formation and accountability groups. These are small men's groups that are meeting at the parish level. And right now we have about 26 of them throughout the country in about 16 different dioceses. And we also call men from these small groups to take their faith to action. And we take on cultural evils like pornography and abortion, and we defend traditional marriage.
What is the outcome that you're hoping for from these endeavors?
Well, hopefully we're able to help and influence change in our community where we find ourselves, and we change ourselves. We transform ourselves through the process. Most of these men are broken men. All of us are broken on some level, but some more than others. And so we want these men to be transformed by the work that they're called to do with the King's Men. And in the process of being ministered to, they do ministering to a lot of men. And so we're reaching out to men one heart at a time, one man at a time. And so we really look at our results, really through one man finding virtue in his life. And on a macro level, we'll let God handle all that.
Absolutely.
We're just trying to be faithful to ministering to men and their issues.
How has this affected you personally?
Oh, it's changed my life completely. I mean, the message of chastity and living a virtue-driven life is so important in our culture today because those messages aren't in the culture predominantly. And so when you start to embrace a life of virtue and you start to see all virtues, not just one virtue like chastity, and you start seeing how they all complement each other and how it helps you to live a holy and pleasing life to God, it changes you as a person forever. And you start living a sacramental life. You start seeing that you're in the world but not of the world, right? And you start seeing that God is calling you to something and He wants you to do more than just serve yourself. And so how it's affected my life, I try to serve my family and my community and the common good in general. So that's what I do. That's what I've learned from it by addressing these own issues in my life related to lack of sexual integrity and those things. I find myself really able to influence people positively because I bring a different message than what the world is offering them.
Absolutely. Now, for about 2 minutes, do you think you could give us a brief overview of the King's Men and what it's all about?
Sure. Well, the overview can be found on our website. Probably the simplest place to go is thekingsmen.org for a deeper answer. But yeah, we are basically looking to stamp out pornography where we find ourselves because 5 out of 10 men in church struggle with that issue. So that's a very important piece of what we do. And then we want to bring men together to understand that they're called to be a leader, protector, provider. The 3 roles of men, to lead, to protect, and provide. And so all of our programmings, Trista, are designed to teach men how to be a better leader, protector, and provider.
And in that, that involves prayer, study, action, education.
Absolutely.
So there's a format?
We have an uncatechized generation of people, period, but mostly the men. And if men are called to be head of the domestic church, which they are, we want to make sure that they're equipped to give something to their children and to the community. So they can't give what they don't have.
Right.
And so at the foundation, what we do is really the rosary. The Holy Rosary begins all of our weekly meetings. And so we start there. Mary brings us to her son, and he does the rest.
So it's rooted, this is primarily a Catholic organization?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We're authentically Catholic, 100% faithful to the magisterium. If the Pope says to do something, we say, sir, yes, sir. So we're following orders, but we're trying to live out the lay apostolate. We're trying to support the clergy. We're trying to support our bishops and really drive men into the pews because they're not there.
Sure. Now, you want to say a little bit about the local chapter?
Sure.
And it's not just local. This is throughout
Sure.
the U.S.? Okay.
Sure. We have two groups here in Louisiana. One right here in Lafayette and at the University of Louisiana, right there at the Newman Center. And it was a fruit of last year. We were here in April for a conference, and it just blossomed as a result of being there, giving witness to the truth. And Father Champagne is handling a lot of that, and the priest that's at the campus. I've never been with the group because we have so many groups, but I hear good things. There's about a half a dozen men that are solidly coming on a weekly basis to that group. We also have a group in Covington, Louisiana. So they're popping up slowly but surely, but our job is, and our mission isn't really to be like McDonald's and have all these franchises. If it happens, it happens.
Right.
And it just so happens Lafayette is a blessed area.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today, and that would be at Our Lady of Wisdom, I guess the Newman Center. If anyone wants more information on that, they can call there.
Right.
Thank you for being with us today, and thank you, folks. Stay tuned. There's more to come on Tell the People.
Thank you, Trista and Mark. Coming up next, Father Michael Champagne's talk is about the Stations of the Cross in the segment, What It Means to be Catholic.
Good morning, and welcome to Tell the People to What It Means to be Catholic. We're going to conclude today our treatment of the Stations of the Cross. We've been making that journey with Jesus as Jesus went 40 days in the desert, and there he fasted. We've been fasting. Jesus prayed, and we've been praying. And as I mentioned earlier, in Lent, one of the very popular forms of prayer is to physically walk with Jesus, to try to walk with Jesus to those places that he went to as he brought that cross up to Calvary to be crucified. And so we've been making that little pilgrimage, a little mini pilgrimage of Jerusalem in the Stations of the Cross. And some from their hospital bed or nursing home, some from prison, some, you see, by going on Fridays with the priest, the deacon, and moving the cross from station to station, some by personally during the day making the Station of the Cross. But we want to get into that movement of entering in and participating in with Jesus and what he went through. And so we're going to conclude that today with the last three stations. And the 12th station, Jesus dies on the cross. Jesus died, and his death redeems the world. In the Gospels, all four Gospels recount the death of Jesus, this station. Matthew 27:50. Once again, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, and then he gave up his spirit. Matthew 27:50. Mark 15:37. Then Jesus, uttering a loud cry, breathed his last. Luke 23:46. Jesus uttered a loud cry and said, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. After he said this, he expired. And then John's Gospel, chapter 19, verse 30. When Jesus took the wine, he said, now it is finished. And then he bowed his head and he delivered over his spirit. So the four Gospels speak about Jesus' expiring, expiratus, breathing out the spirit, giving up the